So here I am drawing a demon's head. This is something that I've drawn similar, and you know the design that I'm drawing, it's something that I've drawn before in a different way, but it's like a demon head impaled on a wooden spike or stake or something like that. And so I wanted to incorporate quite a few inking things into this, maybe a bit of black paint ink in the background, and I don't know, just see how the drawing progresses. Right now I'm sketching this in with a real tiny 2B pencil. I don't know why I prefer drawing with a smaller pencil, but it's just more comfortable to hold to sketch really. So there's like one broken horn on there, and I don't know if you can see the lines that are hanging off them horns. They're going to be chains. Trying to work in all the elements that I can. There's that wooden spike there going right through its head. As I said, I've drawn something similar to this. I remember doing a paint sketch of this, and it was practically the same type of drawing, with this demon head on, on an angle like this, and like a stick going through its head. So, but I think if you like repeat certain themes, you create better drawings eventually. So I'm just going with a Sharpie marker. I'm just trying to pick out some darker, thicker lines, usually under the eyes and the cheekbones there, and maybe a bit of the jaw, and just areas that I know that's going to be darker, which is around the eye, sockets and things, and the underside of that wooden stake there. One side's going to be heavily thicker than the other side, so it just helps create weight to the drawing. So yeah, just like filling in areas with a Sharpie marker. We'll go in detail when I start doing using other ink pens. I'll probably use like a gel pen because they're real cheap, and I am like a cheap artist. So yeah, we're just trying to work in that dark areas, and now using the thinner gel pen, so I can go in and add thinner lines for the teeth, and a lot of wrinkle details which will be like cross-hatched, and whatever else other details I can add. When you're drawing this, it's best to have an idea of what you're drawing. Maybe you've sketched this beforehand like I have, but I just wanted this just to be an ink drawing, not like with coloured inks like I did last time. I think I used greys and stuff. I'll have to dig out that drawing, and I'm sure I've posted it on this channel, I can't remember, but it was similar to this. But it's always best to plan your drawings, or have a good idea of what you really want to draw. Obviously, the more time you spend on a drawing, the more detail you can add, and the more different ways you can flesh out your drawing. And that's what I've done here. I speed it up slightly, but I didn't want it to be too fast where I just skip over everything. I think by the end of this, probably I could have worked on it a bit more, but this is, I think this is good enough just to show you how I, do the drawing process. So that pencil sketch is like sort of used as always like the guide, but it isn't like the final sorts of, elements. When you're doing the drawing stage, you can, when you start to ink it, you can, just change things up. So here I am using like the black. This is to like sort of offset the skull and bring it forward as well. I won't paint all the full background black, just maybe like frame the skull with this black. I'm using, forgot the name of the ink, it doesn't have a name. It's just a bottle of black ink, but it's a cheap ink, but I found it really dark sort of ink, and that's what you need really. And when you add like white highlights with pens over it, it really works. It really helps providing that dark blanket black that you need, you know, to bring your drawings forward. Just trying to avoid the chains because I realised I hadn't drawn the rest of them or inked, you know. I just drawn them like little sausages. That's the way you draw chains. But yeah, it's just about working it all out on the page, and you know, I don't concentrate on certain areas. Sometimes I do different areas of the drawing and then I go on to another bit, you know. I'm just always doing that. But here I am like using a gel pen, you know, to cross hatch and add like shadows around the eyes, and a lot of the darker areas is the way to go with these drawings. Obviously sometimes you can add too much detail, but I prefer to add quite a bit, and then you can see your drawing come together. Around the frown lines and around the eyes, it's like heavily cross hatched with the ink pen. So yeah, this is my drawing process. I never used to spend a lot of time on drawings in the past, but now I do, because I realise if you spend a bit more time on the drawings, you're able to squeeze as much out of the drawing as you can. Time spent on it is worth a lot more. That's what I've found out. I recently did an Instagram comparison against an old drawing I did back in 2014. It was like of a skull with tentacles coming out of it, and I sort of left that drawing, and then I found it not so long ago, well, quite recently, and I decided to change that drawing and make it a lot better, and it worked out. I'll have to show you the drawing in a vlog clip, and you know, try and show the comparison. But if you see my Instagram, it's on there. But yeah, it's sort of worth spending a lot of time on these drawings. If they don't work, they don't work. You get that sometimes. I've said that quite often on this channel. You know, if drawings don't work, then that's okay. You've tried, and then maybe try and draw it a different way. That's the best thing to do, you know. As I say, I'm drawing them chains like sausages, and then you just do the links, you know, like that, and it goes off the page a little bit, but yeah, you sort of get the idea. That's why I left that other dark bit dark and light for now, until I can finish these chain bits off, and then I'll come back in and fill it later. I like drawing chains. I think it's I don't know, quite, I don't know, there's something about it. It's just like a bit relaxing. I don't know why. Maybe because like I can draw them easier now than I used to. I couldn't draw them years ago. I suppose I had to learn to draw them, but it might seem, you know, simple to. It seemed simple to draw, but then when you start to draw them, I used to mess them up. So, but that's the easiest way to draw them. Just draw them like sausages with gaps, and then do the links after. Yeah, so I just add in more details as always, and um, it's important to keep some white spaces, not just fill everything in with this cross hatching. And I always darken the roots of the tooth because it gives like a nice, um, I don't know, rooted tooth sort of shadow. I don't know, can't explain it. Just it looks a lot better when I try and draw them. And a lot of this cross hatching looks a bit like overkill at the moment, but once you see it all together, it works. Some more chains, or sausages, sausage chains, and yeah. Or I like to draw on a few like other elements in this, maybe some like I don't know, some metal spikes. Oh, I messed that messed that little bit up there. Just try and hide it with a bit of bit of ink. I would like to do more like spikes and maybe bolts through the head or something. I don't know, because there was a bit like an empty space on the top of that head there of the demon. So I was just thinking maybe, you know, but I can add them later, I suppose, or maybe not. It's the drawing works fine anyway. At the end, it just feels like it needs a few more details, but that's with any drawing. You can leave it or you can try and add more to it, but sometimes it's best just to leave a drawing and move on to the next one. So these chains have got a bit smaller on the horns. That's something that I realised, but can't be helped now. It's one of them things. Or maybe it's a different chain. Who knows? It could be. I don't know. Maybe not, because the little big chain goes up. Oh well, never mind. One of them things. Yeah, so there's not really anything else much to say about this drawing, except I like drawing this stuff, and you know, trying to work out these drawings and drawing them late into the night. Oftentimes I'm thinking, is this all I can draw, you know, sort of thing. But I suppose I can draw other stuff. I just wanna try and draw other things as well. But I'd like to build up a good amount of this type of work, and then maybe, you know, while I'm doing that, maybe try and draw a few other things which I've got planned. But I think I'll always be known for drawing this type of art, so I might as well just stick with it for a bit. So this is going to be the first video, I forgot to say, which I'll premiere, and you'll be able to interact with the chat, which you'll probably see while you're watching this anyway. So it's pretty irrelevant me saying that, but if you want to ask any questions, then you're free to do so. I'll try and answer your questions, and I'll be there for the chat for this video. So yeah, just testing that out. So I'm going to see how it goes, and I might premiere more videos, because live streams I don't think at the moment is going to be any good, because we've got rubbish internet. So I don't know if I can do them. Instagram seems fine, but when I go on YouTube, I don't know, at the moment it's not too good. So I may do some Instagram live streams here and there. So but I'll always try and notify, or do like a video saying that I'm doing a live stream, so you can maybe, you know, join us anytime. But I'll, you know, I don't know if you can do replays on there. I think, oh, is it replay for 24 hours or something? I can't remember, to be honest. But anyway, back to the drawing. You can see it's coming together now with all them thick and thin lines that I'm doing, using a Sharpie marker pen, just filling in them black areas just around the chains. But even in with the cross-hatched areas, you know, I've darkened the eyes, made the eyeballs just white, and that's the good thing about inking. You can do different techniques a lot of cross hatching. You can make it as sketchy as possible, you know, you don't have to, you know, well, you can make it more neat and tidy, but this is my style, so I just do it loose and sketchy, and try and bring it all together with lots of details and things like that. So it's up to you exactly how you ink these things. This, what I'm using for the cross hatching and the fine ink lines here, is a really cheap gel ink pen. I mean, they're not good for if you need to do like watercolor over them, or painting, or using markers and that, because they sort of bleed a bit and they're not that good. But since this is just a black and white ink drawing, then that's fine, you know, because I can scan it into the computer, or, you know, do things like that. Keep a good digital copy of it. So, and maybe add some, like, you can do contrasts on the scan anyway, and make it more darker, so you see less streaks and things like that. So then you can always print it out and then decide to do a colour version. But I like these super cheap ink pens. I think they're 60p from Asda, but I'm in the UK, so it's Asda's sort of like a Walmart shop. It's owned by Walmart anyway, so I can imagine in America, in, you know, Walmart, they have similar cheap gel ink pens. As for the rest of the world, I'm not too sure, but they'll have similar alternatives for ink pens. Still using that Sharpie marker just to fill in the areas. The larger area I might need to use some paint with a thin paint brush. Yeah, but the thing about this is I've noticed that the Sharpie marker against the ink that I've done, it sort of dries the tip of the Sharpie a bit, and then you have to work a bit harder just to, you know, like lay in the ink and things. But that's some different pens don't work well together. You're just going to find that it's just about experimenting and finding the right pens that you can work with. So I'm doing more and more drawings like this. A lot of black ink drawings, trying to work on hopefully a sketchbook in time with all these black and white drawings. I thought it would be quite good, but then I've got a lot of projects that I've said I'm going to do and I've never done over the years, so I really want to try and get them done, like colouring books. I've sort of like got the bare bones of a colouring book at the moment. It's going to be about 80-90 pages, the first one, and then hopefully other ones after are going to be like 100 pages each. You know, just like different drawings that I do. So that's the plans with these drawings. Some are going to be on t-shirts and things like that, and some are going to be sold to bands or anything like that. So if you've got a band or anything, I can try and illustrate a similar drawing, or you know, black and white drawing, illustration, whatever you want for your band, then I'll do that. So you just message us, and, you know, I could work on artwork for, you know, like death metal bands or anything like that. So, you know, that's what I like to draw. So there's a good chance that the drawings that I do you'd be happy with. So it's, you know, I'm always busy, but I always make time to draw this stuff more than anything else. So as you can see, that horn, I'm trying to give it some shape and definition with like shadow underneath, and then the top will be just like whiter and more details everywhere. Sometimes you can't stop adding loads of details, but then why would you want to if you enjoy inking? You know, I enjoy drawing them. You know, the things that I like to draw. It doesn't seem like a chore. It just seems like you're sculpting the drawing, but with ink pens, and that's what I like. Years ago I used to get frustrated with drawing. I think any artist does, but it takes practice and redrawing things over and over again in your head and on paper, and that's what I've done, and that's what any artist should do, really. You know, if you get frustrated with drawing something and it doesn't turn out how you want, then it's best to practice, redraw, you know, go over it quite a few times, and you know, try and draw it different ways, and just really try and get it, you know, in your head, to try and get these things down on paper, because what all drawing is just like ideas. You know, there's a lot of weird ideas floating in my head about these drawings, and you know what I'm going to draw, and it's best just to draw them. You know, if you're an artist, you just got to draw these ideas. Just express yourself really with drawing. Yeah, just filling in that area, like I said, with that black ink. I quite like that cheap black ink, but it's got no label on it, nothing. It's got it for a couple of quid at the Works, which is in UK, obviously. They sell books and everything there, but they sell art materials as well, so pretty good shop really, especially for the budget artists who can't afford a lot of expensive materials. I'm still trying to build up my Copic markers, but I'll get there. I'll get there eventually. Right, so I've decided to add some black splatter. You can't really see it effectively, you can see little bits, but I thought I'd use the paintbrush and see if any like large blobs of splatter would splatter off the actual brush bristles on the top as well, but it sort of worked a bit better. I think you've got to experiment with this splatter or spatter, as some people correct me on, which is, you know, if you thin the paint down a bit with water, you might get more like loose splatters or fine splatters and things like that, but you might get some random splatters which don't, you know, look sort of effective. You know, they look almost like I don't know, I can't describe it, like you can get line splatters where there's like drips in a row or something, and get different ones, different ways of doing it. I'm using some white as well. I think I used, yeah I did, I used white, titanium white Liquitex ink for that, because I think that's a really good white to use, especially for splatter and some highlights and things like that. I'm a bit overboard, it looks like stars or something, but I quite like it. Anyway, I think that's coming to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed this little look into my process. I'll be doing more videos like this, so I'll see you in the next video. Cheers now.